Well, hello there, and welcome to Cooking from the Cupboards. My name is Heather if you're new here, and today's video I thought I would show you how I organize my recipes in binders. Now these recipes are ones that I specifically print off the internet, whether I find them on a blog or from a YouTube channel that has recipes, or from Pinterest or All Recipes, or wherever I may find a recipe out there in the internets. This is how I organize them. Now, I get a lot of questions on how I organize recipes, and that's why I thought I would do this video. So first of all, you need binders. So where do you get your binders? So I find my binders at thrift stores, and I generally pay under $1 at the thrift stores, or at garage sales. You can get them fairly cheap there. I also buy them new at back to school time when they're on sale. So when it's back to school time, I'm always looking for a good deal on binders. I like to use the 1-inch binders. That is going to be this size, the 1-inch binder. That's what I like to use for my categories. And then I like to use the 2-inch binders for my yearly binders. Or for bigger categories. So like my breads and stuff are in the big one. I make cover sheets just using Word. So I open up Word and I type out, the year, or I add a picture or whatever, and then I print it off. And then I put that behind the plastic sheeting. And then I also will write down like the year or what the category is. And then I put that behind the plastic sheeting on the spine. So when it sits on my bookshelves, I can see if it's a yearly one or if it's a category. So by organizing recipes, one, it can be a rewarding task, and it ensures that I always have my favorite dishes at my fingertips. So I'm going to show you the process that I go through in putting recipes into binders and making it easier for me to find them whenever I want them. So I create a yearly binder. To begin, it's the current year, so the binder acts as a temporary source for all new recipes I come across throughout the year. Whenever I print off a recipe, I use a 3-hole punch, and I prepare it and I put it directly into the binder. And then I add it to the yearly collection, which is the yearly binder. This keeps all new recipes in one place, and it makes it easy to refer back to them. So this is my 2025 binder. I have not printed any off for 2025 because I've been using my cookbooks and my recipe cards. So I haven't printed any off this year, but that's fine. It's available, so if I do. This is my 2024 binder. And so these are all the recipes that I've printed off that I've wanted to try. And then I did go in and add some index pages here so I can refer. So these are all chicken recipes. So if I'm looking for a new recipe and I'm like, if I printed this off, it means I wanted to try it. So I thought I would, print them off, and then they're in their little category. Okay. So this is 2024. So I'm going to be referring to this. I'm going to go through this and pull out any recipes that I want to try, and then I'll add them to the 2025. Other than that, they're just going to stay in the 2024 binder. Okay. So that's what I do. So I print them off. If it's a recipe that I really want to try, I print it off, and then I add it. So this is a classic or chicken pot pie casserole. So if I really wanted it, I printed it off, and then it goes into a category in the yearly binder. And then when I want a chicken recipe, I can come in and find it. Okay. So that's how I do my printing of the recipes. So any recipe that I print off for the year goes into the yearly binder. And this will be 2025. So they will go into this binder. And then the next is trying the recipes. So I'll find recipes, or if I'm meal planning, I'll pull recipes from the yearly binders. And so I can try some new recipes or some new dishes. And then I take note and I write on the recipe. I have one right here. And I'll make a note on the recipe if it was good. So this is an easy shepherd's pie. I wrote down that it was good, and I did write down, the 400 degrees in the oven and for 30 minutes because I was having a hard time finding it because it's really tiny print. So I wrote it, bigger. And then I would make any notes on this recipe. If I made a change or a substitution, if we really liked it, if it's very, very good, it's not so good, or whatever the case may be. And then I make those notes on this piece of paper on the recipe itself. And then it goes back into the yearly binder. I make it one time and it goes back into the yearly binder. And then I try it a second time. So maybe a few weeks later or the next month, I'll put it back onto the meal rotation. And then I will try it again. And if we really enjoy it, then I will move it to its appropriate category binder. And so this would be considered a casserole. And so I would put this into the casserole binder. Now I have a casserole recipe in here that we've made all kinds of notes on, right? And so we made those notes, and then I'll just put them, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Don't fall. Hang on a second. Give me a second. I gotta move it. It's trying to fall. Okay. Sorry. Everything wants to fall. They're all slippery. All right. And then I put it into the category binder. And this is casseroles. And this is only a 1/2 inch because I make casseroles, but I don't make them very often. So it just goes into that. Okay. So I print it off, 3-hole punch it, put it into my yearly binder. I make it one time, it stays in the yearly binder. I make it a second time, then it goes into the category binders. And my category binders are organized by the dish or a type of ingredient, such as appetizers, main dishes. I have mine broke down a little more than that. Desserts or casserole recipes. So this is a yearly binder from 2024. This is my 2025 with no recipes in it because I haven't printed any off. And so I have casseroles, of course. I have soup and salads. I have snacks, candies, breads, chicken, bean recipes, homemade condiments are in here. Beef, pork, and Christmas cookies. I have Christmas cookies over here too. So I have more category binders over on my bookshelf, and all my binders generally fit on one shelf on my bookshelf, and that's how I choose to keep them, and that way I always have access to them. So this system of categorizing them helps me find a recipe based on what we're in the mood for or the ingredients that I may have on hand. And if they've made it to this category binders, it means it's a recipe that we like and we want to try again. Each of them are generally organized. Some that have quite a few recipes in them, I do the index so I can easily find them. And it's just easier for me to do it this way. So the benefits of doing a system similar to this, now you can do You can do whatever category you want, or you could just do one yearly binder and just do indexes like I did in the 2024. Don't fall, don't fall. So in 2024, I have chicken, casserole, pork, beef, the little indexes here, and miscellaneous. You could do that for the yearly if that's what you chose to do. But the point is to have a place where you can put your printed recipes so you can always find them. Because I don't know about you, but for a long time, I would print off a recipe. It would either sit on my desk or I'd put it on the refrigerator. It would just either get lost or shuffled around or whatever the case may have been. This way, if I print it off, put it immediately into a binder, it's not going to get ruined, it's not going to get lost, and then I can always have access to it. And then I put it into my categories, and then I make my meal plans from there. So by putting recipes in binders, it can offer several benefits. You would have easy access to all your favorite recipes. They're easily accessible and organized. However you want to organize that is up to you. Flexibility. You can easily add, remove, or move recipes between the binders. So for an example, there's certain recipes that I would consider a casserole, like a chicken and broccoli and rice casserole, right? I would consider that a casserole, so I would put that in casseroles. Other people would put it into a chicken binder. Whatever works for you. If you know that it's your main protein source is chicken and you want to put it in here, even though it's a casserole, you could do indexes in here of a chicken soup, or, like soups and casseroles, or a main dish, or whatever you wanted to do. So how you organize it is up to you. I hope that makes sense. So you can customize it and tailor all the categories that suit your cooking habits and your preferences. Now, you can do anything for your categories. So maybe you're on a specific diet. Maybe you need, a gluten-free recipe binder. Or maybe you're vegetarian and you want to print off vegetarian recipes. Or you're doing a meatless dinner and you want meatless recipes for like meatless Monday nights. Or say you want, maybe you're following a new diet. Maybe you need to follow a new diet and you want to print off a bunch of recipes. Make a category binder, and that way all those recipes are always in there. And then you don't have to go searching, is this appropriate for me? And so that would reduce the time searching for recipes and it will help you plan meals more effectively if everything is in one place. By following this process, I know that my recipe collection is going to be up to date, organized, and ready for any recipe that I may want to try. So whether you're a seasoned cook, or maybe you're just beginning, or maybe you're learning how to make something new and you want a recipe binder for that, this system can help you keep any of your recipes in order, and it can help you make meal planning more of a breeze and easier to do. Because meal planning is hard. And any way to streamline that, or to help you, because we all get into a rut. And it's like, oh, you know what? I printed off some recipes. Let me go find a couple of those recipes. I have those ingredients. Let me try that recipe. And then you can add that to your meal plan. And then you might find a brand new favorite recipe. That's how we find favorite recipes. We try new recipes. Once I get them into my category binders, I get them into the category binder, right? And so I've made it twice. And then it goes into the category, and it's into the category binder. I will make it a third time. So the third time I make this recipe. Now, if my family really enjoys it, really likes it, we're talking about it, we've been talking about this recipe, hey, can you make that again? And I make it a third time. Yeah, this is really good. We really, really like it. Then I will write it onto a recipe card, and then I add it to my recipe box. So my personal recipe box. And my personal recipe box is always in my kitchen. This ensures that all of the favorite recipes and new recipes to us are available and we can find them. I don't know if that made any sense or anything. Hopefully this makes sense. So, organizing recipes. We all print recipes off. This is a recap. We all print recipes off the internet. I make a yearly binder. This is 2024 because my 2025 doesn't have any. All recipes get 3-hole punched and then immediately put into the binder. I sometimes do indexes. So any new recipe for the year goes into the binder. I try the recipe one time. I make any notes on it. I try the recipe a second time if we enjoyed it. If we didn't like it, I write that on there. Then I try it a second time. And hey, that was a really good chicken pot pie casserole. That was really good. Could you make that again? So the second time, it goes into a category. A third time gets written onto the recipe cards. So that way you can always find your recipes. You can organize it as much or as little as you want. So this is how I organize recipes off the internet and into my binders. And they just sit over there on my bookshelf. And so I always have access to them. Because I love recipes, whether they're in cookbooks, off the internet, recipe cards, it don't matter to me. A recipe is a recipe. And I like them all. So I have to organize them so I can find them. Because you can't make a recipe if you don't have it in front of you. So that's my 2 cents. So this is organizing recipes and binders. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Comment down below if you like recipes off the internet and if you print them off and what is your system. So like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next video. Goodbye for now.